Nunca he tenido poder, ni he ansiado conseguirlo.
That's an interesting question. It's funny, I have a friend who wrote this really interesting essay on characters, like the idea that every actor sort of carries around a graveyard of characters that they've brought to life in their career and then had to say goodbye to. But he had this one character that wouldn't die, and he said he ended up in desperation at one point in a bookshop looking at books on character development, and he said he found 40 books on character development and not a chapter in any of them of how to kill the bastard when you were finished with him, you know? So I don't know, I'm sure there are elements of every character that you sort of take along with you, but nothing in particular that I can identify. And I'm pretty nifty with a sword now, so I suppose if my back was against the wall and I had to defend myself and there was a sharp metal object around, a little bit of Arthur might come out into the mix. They were actually very difficult, and I was really panicked, significantly exacerbated by the fact that I had to fly to LA during those 8 days and do pitch meetings for a film that I had to set up. And so it was sort of a fever dream. I don't think I slept more than 2 hours a night, and most significantly, obviously, the physical, emotional, the emotional, psychological transformation. But there was also a pretty significant physical transformation. I lost, I think something crazy like 18 pounds in that week. I just didn't eat for the entire week. I starved myself. So it was a rather difficult week, if I recall. It was really great. It was exciting to be to sort of be liberated of having to feel like we were locked into any like preconception of who Arthur was. We decided that there were certain elements of the Arthurian legend that we had to adhere to and be sensitive to, and but as long as we were getting the essence of the story in there and hitting the high points that people would expect within the story, that we had a certain latitude to be able to do what we wanted with the characters. So it's interesting. I mean, I'm not really as much interested in franchises per se. I mean, if there's like doing Sons of Anarchy when I worked on that for TV was very exciting because Kurt, the creator of that show, had a very clear story that he wanted to tell, and he was quite disciplined about the pace with which he told it. So he wanted to make sure that if we were lucky enough to go 7 seasons, we'd never run out of story. Now, the Arthurian legend is historically always been very difficult to condense down to a 2-hour increment, because it's this long, sprawling story, and to condense it down to 2 hours prevents you from really doing all of the elements of the story justice. And so we only tell the first chapter of the story in this, so there's an enormous volume of great story left to tell. But again, that's really up to the audience. We would love to come back and tell a couple more chapters of this, but it just will depend what the appetite out there in the marketplace is. If people love it, then we'll come back and do another chapter.
Querías una profecía. Esta es tu profecía. El hombre que sacó Excálibur de la roca. Contemplad al rey legítimo.